Have you ever laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, exhausted, yet unable to rest? Your body pleads for sleep, but your mind begins its nightly ritual, replaying old conversations, worrying about the future, questioning everything you did or didn't do. You're not alone. For millions of people, especially in our later years, nighttime becomes a battlefield, not against noise or discomfort, but against the mind that won't quiet down. The more we try to chase sleep, the more it slips away. We try herbal teas, soft music, sleep pills, but the silence remains deafening, filled with the sound of our own restless thoughts. Why does this happen, even when we're so tired? What if the answer isn't in doing more, but in releasing more? In Buddhist wisdom, true peace isn't found by fixing everything. It's found in the gentle act of letting go. So tonight, let's stop chasing rest. Let's explore a quieter path, one of stillness, surrender, and sacred simplicity. Because sometimes the most powerful healing begins not in effort, but in exhale. Take a breath. Let's begin this journey, not toward sleep, but toward peace. Before we can welcome sleep, we must understand why it so often avoids us. Why, even when our bodies are weary, does the mind stay wide awake? The Buddha taught that suffering does not come from life's events, but from our attachment to them. And when we bring that attachment into bed with us, it wraps itself around our thoughts like tangled vines, tightening the more we resist. We usually think of attachment as a craving for material things or relationships. But often, our deepest attachment is to our own thoughts, regrets from the past, worries about the future, the desire to control what we cannot. These thoughts swirl like waves in an endless ocean, crashing again and again on the shores of our awareness. And no matter how many times we toss and turn, they follow. There's an old Buddhist story about a farmer who visited the Buddha, desperate and restless. "I cannot sleep," he said. "My crops are failing. My son doesn't listen. My wife worries too much. I have so many problems." The Buddha listened patiently, then replied, "I cannot take your problems away, but I can help you see them differently. Life will always have difficulties. The key is not to suffer over them." It's a simple truth, but one we often forget in the silence of night. We believe sleep will come once every problem is solved, but life doesn't work that way. When one worry fades, another takes its place. And the tighter we try to control everything, the more restless we become. Think of Margaret, a retired school librarian in her early 70s. Every evening she would get into bed hoping for rest, only to be met by a flood of thoughts. Did I forget to pay the water bill? Is my grandson doing all right in college? What if my blood pressure gets worse? Her mind would spiral, pulling her further from peace. One night a friend shared a quiet piece of wisdom. "Margaret, your thoughts are like a glass of water stirred by worry. The more you stir, the cloudier it becomes. But if you sit still, the water settles." That night, Margaret began a new ritual. Before bed, she would sit quietly, close her eyes, and breathe deeply. She would whisper to herself, "Tonight, I do not need to solve everything. The world will still be here tomorrow." With time, something began to change. Not in her life, but in her relationship to it. She was still the same woman with the same responsibilities, but now she no longer carried them into her dreams. This is the heart of Buddhist wisdom. Peace doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from releasing the illusion that we need to. Sleep is not an escape, it's a return. A return to the present. A return to breath. A return to what is, without resistance. So ask yourself tonight, what thoughts am I carrying that no longer serve me? What burdens am I still holding, even as I lay down to rest? Not everything needs to be resolved tonight. Not every question needs an answer. And not every worry needs your attention. In fact, your attention may be the very thing keeping them alive. Imagine your thoughts as leaves on a quiet stream. Watch them drift by. Acknowledge them, but don't chase them. Let them pass. Let them soften. Let them go. Because the truth is, sleep doesn't come from doing. It comes from undoing, from loosening the grip, from giving yourself permission to rest, to breathe, to be. As we grow older, we may not have control over what aches or what tomorrow brings. But we always have a choice in how we meet this moment, with resistance or with release. And in choosing release, we begin to remember something we've always known, that peace was never far away. It was waiting quietly beneath the noise. Let that be your first step tonight. Not to fix, not to force, but to gently return to this breath, to this moment, to the soft beginning of sleep. What if the reason we can't sleep isn't because of the noise around us, but the weight within us? In Buddhist teachings, letting go is not about giving up. It's about creating space. Space for rest, space for peace, space for sleep to enter quietly without struggle. A monk once asked his teacher, "Master, how do you sleep so soundly each night?" The teacher smiled and replied, "Before bed, I take off my robe and fold it neatly. I do the same with my thoughts." This simple act reveals something profound. Letting go doesn't mean erasing our thoughts. It means acknowledging them and then gently setting them aside. Imagine Eleanor, a woman in her late 60s. Every night her mind would revisit the same loop. Did I upset my daughter today? What if my health declines? Will I be a burden to the people I love? The more she tried to push these thoughts away, the louder they became, like letters unopened and unanswered, demanding her attention. Sleep became distant, elusive. Then one evening, a friend shared a ritual. "Treat your thoughts like guests at a tea house," she said. "Some come and go quietly. Others linger, but remember, you are the host. You choose who stays." That night, Eleanor did something different. She took a small notebook and wrote down every thought that weighed on her heart. Not to dwell, not to fix, just to release. When she finished, she closed the notebook and whispered, "I will return to these tomorrow, but tonight, I choose to rest." And something shifted. Sleep, once a stranger, arrived gently, like a visitor invited, not forced. Letting go doesn't mean pretending our problems don't exist. It means we stop carrying them everywhere we go, especially into bed. Buddhist teachings remind us, just as we would never lie down carrying a heavy bag on our chest, we shouldn't lie down carrying a heavy mind either. Tonight, before sleep, try this. Write down your thoughts. Speak a mantra. I release this day. I welcome peace. Visualize placing your worries into floating lanterns and watch them drift down a quiet stream. Each of these small acts is a doorway, a shift from effort to ease, from control to trust. Because sleep is not a reward for doing enough. It's a birthright, a renewal, a sacred pause. And when we let go, not forever, but just for now, we remember that rest is something we don't need to earn. It's something we deserve. So tonight, ask gently, what can I lay down just for now? And in that soft surrender, sleep may come, not because you chased it, but because you welcomed it. A Zen master once held up a cup of tea and asked his student, "If this cup is already full, how can I pour more into it?" The student paused, then replied, "You must first empty it." Sleep is no different. When our minds are overflowing, cluttered with to-do lists, old regrets, and fears of what tomorrow may bring, there's no room for peace to enter. We carry the day's burdens into the night and then wonder why rest escapes us. But just like the cup, we can choose to empty, gently, intentionally. With each breath out, we release. With each moment of stillness, we create space. And in that space, sleep finds us. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, what can I let go of just for now? Even a little emptiness can hold a great deal of peace. In Buddhist practice, the breath is not just a bodily function. It is a sacred thread that ties us to the present moment. It is gentle, constant, always with us, yet so often ignored. But what if this simple act, breathing, held the key to deep, restorative sleep? A Zen master once said, "If you want to calm your mind, listen to your breath. If you want to sleep, let the breath lead the way." When we're anxious, our breathing becomes shallow, fast, uneven, and the mind follows. But when we begin to breathe slowly and deeply, the body relaxes, and the mind, like a child held in loving arms, begins to settle. Consider Haruto, a retired craftsman from Kyoto. In his younger years, he would lose himself in the rhythm of carving wood, his hands steady, his mind calm. But now, in his 70s, sleep became a struggle. His body was tired, but his thoughts, memories, worries, unfinished tasks kept him wide awake. One evening, Haruto visited an old friend, a Buddhist monk. "I've tried everything," he said. "Warm baths, herbal teas, even counting sheep. Nothing works. My mind won't stop." The monk listened, then handed Haruto a cup of tea. "Drink," he said. Haruto took a slow sip. "Did you have to think about how to drink?" the monk asked. "No," Haruto replied. "I just did it." "Exactly," the monk smiled. "The breath is the same. You don't need to force it. Just return to it." That night, Haruto did just that. As he lay in bed, he brought his attention to the rise and fall of his breath. He didn't try to push thoughts away. He simply let his breath become louder than his mind. Inhale, exhale, again and again, like waves on a peaceful shore. And slowly his body softened, his heart slowed, and sleep, which had long eluded him, came quietly, without effort. You can do the same. Try this breathing practice tonight. Find a comfortable position in bed. Close your eyes. Rest one hand on your chest, the other on your belly. Inhale slowly through your nose to a count of 4. Feel your belly rise gently, like a balloon filling with air. Exhale softly through your mouth or nose to a count of 6. Feel the tension leaving your body like mist lifting off a morning lake. As you breathe, silently repeat, "I am here" on the inhale. "I am safe" on the exhale. "I am at peace." Let your breath be your anchor. When thoughts arise, and they will, gently return to the rhythm. No judgment, no resistance, just presence. Why this works? Scientifically, slow, intentional breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It tells the body, you're safe. It slows the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and prepares you for rest. But from a Buddhist perspective, it's even deeper. Mindful breathing reconnects us to the now. It pulls us out of the past, away from the future, and into the only moment that truly exists. This one. Inhale. Exhale. That's all there is. And in that simplicity, peace returns. So tonight, instead of chasing sleep or wrestling with your thoughts, return to your breath. Let it guide you home. Let it remind you that you are safe, you are whole, and you are allowed to rest. Because sleep is not something to force. It is something to receive. And your breath is the doorway. A restless mind often lives in the past or the future, but the body is always here, always now. And when we learn to return our awareness to the body, something extraordinary happens. We begin to quiet the mind without needing to fight it. This is the essence of the mindfulness body scan, a simple yet powerful practice used in many Buddhist traditions to bring awareness back to the present moment through the gateway of sensation. Rather than resisting sleep or trying to suppress thoughts, the body scan invites us to soften, to notice, to release, one breath, one muscle, one moment at a time. Let me share the story of Robert. In his early 80s, Robert had tried everything to fall asleep. Warm milk, sleeping pills, even counting sheep. But nothing seemed to calm the chatter in his mind. Each night, as soon as he closed his eyes, memories from decades ago would resurface. Unspoken words, regrets, the fear of what lay ahead. He said it felt like trying to sleep in a room full of ghosts. Then one day, he met a meditation teacher in his town. "I can't seem to escape my mind," Robert admitted. The teacher didn't offer advice. Instead, he handed Robert a warm cup of tea and said, "Feel the weight of the cup. Notice the warmth in your palms. Smell the steam. Just be here." Robert took a sip. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't lost in thought. He was simply present. That night, the teacher guided Robert through a body scan. a journey of awareness from head to toe. And for the first time in years, Robert drifted into sleep, not by escaping his mind, but by returning to his body. You can do the same. Tonight, try this body scan practice before bed. Lie down comfortably. Let your hands rest gently at your sides. Close your eyes, take a deep, slow breath in, and let it go. Now begin to bring your awareness to different parts of your body, without judgment, without needing to fix anything. 1. Begin with your feet. Notice the sensation in your toes, the arches, the heels. Let them soften, as if sinking into a warm pool of water. 2. Move up to your legs. Feel any tension in your calves or thighs. Invite these muscles to loosen, to let go. 3. Bring awareness to your abdomen. Notice your belly rising and falling with each breath. Soften any tightness. Let go of anything you're holding there. 4. Shift to your hands and arms. Unclench your fingers. Relax your wrists, your elbows. Let your shoulders drop and release the weight of the day. 5. Move to your face. Soften your jaw. Relax your tongue. Let your forehead smooth. Allow your eyes to rest gently in their sockets. 6. Finally, bring your attention to the crown of your head. Imagine a wave of calm flowing from the top of your head, gently washing down your body, like a soft breeze across a quiet landscape. As you move through this practice, you may notice thoughts arise. That's okay. Don't fight them. Just return to sensation. Return to breath. Return to now. Why does this work? In Buddhist practice, this is called grounding, bringing the mind back into the body, into the present, because the mind, when left alone, will wander through old memories or imagined futures. But the body always lives in this moment. And when we invite the mind to rejoin the body, even for a few quiet minutes, we create the perfect conditions for sleep. So tonight, rather than trying to silence the mind, let it follow the body into stillness. Let peace arise not by force, but by awareness. And as you scan gently from head to toe, ask yourself this: can I allow myself to rest without fixing, without solving, without needing to change anything? If the answer is yes, even for a moment, then sleep is already drawing near. We often think of sleep as a mechanical act, something we do at the end of a long day, something our bodies need. But in Buddhist wisdom, sleep is more than a biological necessity. It is sacred, it is spiritual, it is a daily invitation to surrender. In the same way that a candle cannot burn endlessly without rest, we too must replenish not only our bodies, but our spirits. Yet in our modern world, many have come to see sleep as a challenge to conquer. We tell ourselves, I must fall asleep now, or if I don't sleep, tomorrow will be ruined. And so we lie in bed with tension behind our eyes, worry in our breath, and resistance in our hearts. But what if sleep is not something to force, but something to receive? There's a Zen story of a young monk who pushed himself to meditate late into the night. He believed that sleep was a waste of time, that only through effort could he reach enlightenment. He sat long past midnight, eyes heavy, body aching. His teacher noticed and gently said, "A bowstring pulled too tight will break. A bowstring too loose will not play. The key is balance." The monk realized that rest was not a distraction from his path. It was a part of it. The Buddha taught, rest your body, rest your mind. When you wake, begin again. Sleep, then, is not a break from spiritual practice. It is a continuation of it. It is the moment we release the illusion of control. It is where healing occurs, not through effort, but through stillness. Think of Maria. She spent her whole life on a schedule. Rising early, working hard, caring for others. Even in retirement, she felt a deep need to stay productive. But when nighttime came, she struggled. Her body was tired, but her mind raced. Did I forget something? Am I doing enough? What will tomorrow bring? One evening, Maria stepped outside beneath the moonlight and remembered something her grandmother once told her. The moon does not rush to rise. The sun does not hurry to set. Yet they are always on time. That night, Maria whispered to herself, I trust my body knows how to rest. And for the first time in many weeks, she didn't try to sleep. She simply allowed it. She stopped chasing sleep and instead welcomed it as an old friend. This is the shift. When we stop viewing sleep as a goal and begin treating it as a sacred practice, something we enter into with trust, not pressure, we transform how we experience it. Before bed, try setting a gentle intention, just as you would before meditation. Speak words that honor this time of rest. Tonight, I offer my body deep rest. I release this day with gratitude. I surrender to the rhythm of nature. Tomorrow will unfold as it should. These are not affirmations to control sleep. They are invitations. They soften the mind. They cradle the spirit. They prepare the heart for stillness. And in the morning, continue the practice. Buddhist monks often begin each day not with haste, but with reverence. They wake slowly, mindfully. They whisper, I am alive today. This is a gift. May I live with wisdom and kindness. You can do the same. Before reaching for your phone or thinking about the day ahead, pause. Take one slow breath. Feel your body. Acknowledge the gift of waking. Say to yourself, I have been given another day. May I move through it with peace. May my actions bring joy to myself and others. In doing so, sleep becomes more than rest. It becomes renewal. Each night becomes a sacred letting go. Each morning a gentle rebirth. So if you find yourself lying awake, don't see it as failure. See it as practice. You are learning the art of rest. You are returning to balance. You are walking the middle path, not of force, not of laziness, but of harmony. Let go of the need to control every moment. Trust that your body, your breath, your spirit already know the way. Tonight, as you lay your head down, may you remember, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply learning how to rest again. Sleep is not just the end of a day, it is the beginning of peace. Tonight, as you lay your head down, remember this gentle truth. Sleep is not something to chase, it is something to welcome. Just like the tide returning to shore, rest comes naturally when we stop resisting, when we soften our grip on the day, when we loosen our hold on the thoughts that bind us. We've been taught to see sleep as a problem to solve, another task on the to-do list. But in Buddhist wisdom, sleep is not a duty. It is a doorway, a sacred threshold where we surrender our worries, our identities, even our striving, and return to stillness. Letting go does not mean forgetting your responsibilities. It means understanding that for this moment, you are allowed to rest. You do not need to solve every issue before sunrise. You do not need to carry the weight of the world beneath your blankets. Ask yourself gently tonight, what am I still holding that I can set down? Is it a regret? A fear? A conversation that lingers in your mind? A story about who you should be or what tomorrow must look like? Release it. Not forever. Just for now. Trust that it will be there in the morning if it still matters. Sleep is more than closing your eyes. It is an act of faith, a return to your breath, a homecoming to peace. And when you wake, may you do so not with urgency, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the chance to try again, to move through the day with more gentleness, more awareness, more presence. This is a new way of sleeping, not with tension, not with pressure, but with grace. So breathe in peace, exhale tension, let go, and may sleep find you softly, silently, like a blessing whispered under moonlight. You are safe, you are loved, and tonight, you are allowed to rest.